Hey guys, and welcome back to the Chaotic Kitz channel, where I am Michelle document my life here on YouTube as I try to become a full-time author while also traversing the world's multiple personalities. If that sounds interesting to you, stick around. But today we are going to be talking about why I decided to self-publish my books and also my goals for publication in the future. So let's get into it. So for those of you guys who do not know, I am somebody who has alters. I am a system. I have multiple different personalities. I just call them multiple personalities. I don't know exactly what the official diagnosis is. It could be OSDD, it could be DID. It's some sort of dissociative disorder resulting in me having multiple alters living inside me. That sounds weird to say. But with that, I have 3 alters that primarily want to become authors and become full-time authors. And so with that, I write in different genres. So one of my pen names is named Shelly. She writes my middle grade children's chapter books. Then there's Grace, who writes my YA contemporary Christian fictions. And then there is Maris, who writes a wide variety, but mostly all centering on this high fantasy world, galaxy. And so with each one of them, I have different goals for each. Well, I don't want to say I do, because it's none of my business. But it's each one of them have different goals for their projects. So Shelly, we'll start with Shelly because we just happen to have a book for Shelly. So Shelly writes our Bugztopia PD series. Now, the Bugztopia PD series is a massive world that when we originally started writing it, we thought it was going to be like a 26-letter book, like 26 letters of the alphabet kind of mystery books. But that suddenly changed whenever we started writing them, and yeah, it really changed. So we currently are on book 15 of the series, but we also have a side series called Bugztopia PD, which has 3 books written in it too, and it's just, we have a lot of different books happening. We also have an idea for like some short, well, I say short stories, but like some picture books, some graphic novels and stuff like that. But we're just not going to dive into that realm yet because we haven't made money off our books, and why would we throw money into something else that we haven't made money back on yet? So we're waiting on that. But currently the Bugztopia books are self-published. And the main reason why Shelly did this was because our nephew is the inspiration for these stories. He was 7 at the time when he asked us to write this book series, and he is currently 11. And he gets to read the books. That was kind of the whole goal with them, is for him to be able to read them. And that's kind of why we decided to self-publish. Now, we've done 2 different editions of this book. One had a darker green cover, and then this one, which I personally like this one a lot better. But I feel like the second edition is going to look a lot better. I mean, release-wise, it's going to do a lot better. But so with the Bugztopia PD series, we currently are self-publishing it because we wanted it out for our nephew's reading ability. Now, in the future, I think our goal is to do traditional publishing. I think our ideal goal would like get a deal with Scholastic, just because like these are middle grade books, and it only makes sense to have middle grade books be with Scholastic, I feel like. I'm just saying, I'm not 100% sure. But I think our ideal goal would be Scholastic, but we don't know a lot about the traditional publishing realm. But we would eventually like to get it traditionally published. It's going to be hard right now, mostly because we did decide to self-publish, and it's hard to get a self-publishing deal that transfers into a traditional publishing deal. So it's going to be a little bit, but you know, well, we're going to work it out. But yeah, so we would like to get traditionally published with it. And also with the Shelly books, we also have plans to possibly do, have ghostwriters write some books, like do the picture books or doing the graphic novels, just because we personally, like, I feel currently in our current state, we're really good at writing novels or like chapter books and stuff, but not really doing the whole graphic novels, picture books, because it feels like a different realm. But yeah, so we would like to eventually do that too, but we need to make money off our books before we can do that. And I say, like, I am a little, okay, I feel Shelly right now, but like, I know Shelly's a little like butthurt that she doesn't get to expand on her world as much as she would like, but she also has to remember we're only 24. And the fact that we have already gotten 18 books written is pretty impressive, and 6 of those books are out, and an omnibus is coming out pretty soon, so it's pretty good. I said pretty a lot there. But also with Shelly, she also needs, I say needs, well, it is needs. She'll also have to write a book series for each one of our nieces. So currently we have 3 nieces and nephews, but 2 of them, our nephew's book is Bugztopia, so we need to write 2 series for our nieces. We have ideas for them, but we need our nieces' input before we can actually get started writing them, just because the series are for them, you know, like they're there to inspire me and like give me their feedbacks on the stories. Yeah, so I got a lot of ideas for Shelly. Shelly can't wait to do it, but for right now, we're starting off self-publishing because our nephew was supposed to read these books. And we would have ideally liked to have continued publishing the books, because like we have 7 through 14 that are ready to go. But financially we're not able to support them, so we are just going to take a break until like 2028 to publish books, and then we'll publish them. But yeah, so that's the whole idea for Shelly. I'm going to take a little break, and we're going to talk about Grace, and then we're also going to talk about Maris. So let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to talk about Little Miss Grace right now. I don't know why I called her Little Miss. She would hate that. But so currently we are working on a 4-book series that is called Moving into Scripture. We're working on book 1, which is almost at 14,000 words long. We're on chapter 10. She's ideally thinking the series is going to be like 75,000 words long, but we'll see. And basically it's taking these high school kids on their journey to faith, because each story is going to be different, because obviously every kid's different, and it's just going to follow them and see how they fall back into their faith, pretty much. But so, what was I going to say? Grace has an idea to get, like, not necessarily a traditional publishing deal, because whenever we think traditional, we think of like the big 5 publishing houses, but we do have ideas to get a small, like, indie press deal with like a Catholic, like a Christian faith based publishing house that only publishes Christian fiction. That is our ideal goal with it. We haven't done research on like which one we're gonna like query to and stuff like that, because that's way down the line, and we're not ready for that stage because we're only at 14,000 words, you know, so we need some time. But so she would ideally like to do that. Yeah, I'm not sure, like, that's kind of all I know, really. And, like, whenever we are talking about Grace, I feel like Grace has really wanted to become, like, a mission almost. A missionary? What is it called? I can't think of what she wants to call it. But, like, she wants her books to be more like a ministry. So, like, more like donating these books to kids who are struggling with their faith, you know, and, like, writing books for each one of them and being like, hey, I feel like this one would be a good fit for you. You can understand what's going on and stuff. Especially, like, I feel like it would be a good for, like, kids in need almost. Like, I'm thinking more like young adults, so, like, teenagers, young adults kind of age. Just because that's our ideal readers with it. But yeah, so she's trying to make more of a I'm not going to try to attempt the word again, I'm sorry. But ministry. She's going to try to do a ministry with it. And with that, we also want to donate books to local church at picnics. Yeah, which that's just what Grace's goal is. She wants to be a indie published, traditionally published goal. But yeah, we got to finish writing the book, and that's all that Grace really has for now. Knows what she's gonna do. And now we're gonna switch into Maris. Okay, now we are going to talk about Maris. So, something to note about Maris is a system within a system, meaning that, like, we are the chaotic kit system, like, us, the body, is a chaotic kit system, but there is a system within us called the Maris system. They write our high fantasy adventure stories that, like, span so many different genres and so many different age categories and stuff. It just spans everything and anything. But it all centers around the same galaxy, or this main central idea of, like, a rainbow almost, because it has a lot to deal with colors and stuff. But so with Maris, they ideally would like to do more of a hybriding, or, like, mixed publishing, like, on, like, the more high stakes adventure stories they would like to get traditionally published, while with the, like, more low-key romance kind of chill vibe stories they would like to do self-publishing with. I don't know necessarily if that is even a thing that you can do. That's just kind of like what we would ideally like to think of. I don't know. And, like, we would ideally like one of, like, the big five well, not necessarily the big five, but, like, we would like a big publisher to back us on this, just because, like, it's going to be massive. Like, I can't describe this enough. Like, yes, Shelly's world is massive, but Maris's makes Shelly's look less massive, I guess, just because, like, Maris's books are going to be like 110,000 words long. Like, they're going to be massive books. That's at least what we think. While Shelly's books are more like chapter books, like more children-like books. So it's just going to be a wide variety. Yeah, and, like, something that Maris, like, okay, so with Shelly and Grace, they ideally would like to do more school visits. I don't think Maris has any want, need, or desire to do that. Maris typically just wants to write her books, be done with it. Like, not necessarily be done with it, but, like, write the books and be done with them. And, like, honestly, with Maris, she wants to be more, I go between she and they all are. But I know the main Maris, or whatever you want to call her, she wants us to be a plotter instead of a pantser like we all are now. And so, like, she just wants us to plot as much as possible for this massive series. Because she's like, what if we die during the middle of it, and then it just ends, and there is no story? Like, that is a huge fear of all of ours, that we're just going to die halfway through the series, and then it's like, they just stop. And it's just, it hurts us. But besides the point. But Maris, she would ideally like to, like, I don't know what I was going to say. She would like to plot the books, and honestly, like, as we were talking earlier, Maris was talking, and she was like, she wants to start writing her books at the age of 30. So we're currently 24, so in, like, 6 years, we want to start writing our series. So we got 6 years to plot the series out and maybe start writing, but, like, I don't know why with Maris we feel like we need to be older than we are now to fully get the scope of the story. Just because, like, it's not because, like, you have to be a certain age to write high fantasy adventure stories or anything. It's just Maris wants to have more knowledge under her belt than what's currently under our belt. Like, she wants to read more, like, high fantasy stories, and, like, it just makes sense to, like, we don't really read those right now, and it would make sense to read them before we actually get started writing them, if that makes sense. I don't know, but that's kind of all Maris wants to do, is just get traditionally published / self-publish some of the books. Yeah, that's kind of how it is. I'm going to take a little break, and we are going to just talk about the goal as a whole with publishing and stuff. So let's go. Guys, so that is going to conclude today's video where I talk about my publishing goals and stuff. So something to note is that like each one of my pen names would like to become a well, not traditionally. They would like to become a full-time author, like meaning they make their they make the money for the system to survive by writing books. But I will say, as a system, we don't want to just spend 24/7 writing books all the time. Like, we do have ideas to eventually become an English teacher, or like more specifically a creative writing teacher for local schools. Just because as a kid, we knew we wanted, okay, I don't want to say we knew, but there are several kids in our lives that have wanted to write books. And it would just make sense for them to be, to get the experience to know how to do it. So it would be interesting to, be able to, I want to rotate between 4 different schools and, each year teach their freshmen to seniors how to write a book. And then, with that, our ideal goal, the money that we make from teaching, we would then put into a scholarship for whichever kid we deemed worthy. That doesn't sound right, but the one that we think would have the most passion and desire to become a full-time author. And now, say it is someone who's a freshman when I'm teaching them, teaching seniors and stuff. I would ideally like to give the seniors the money, but I'm gonna, if I'm not there for the four years that they're there for, then it's only right for them to get some part of that money too. So I don't know. I haven't fully figured it out. But as a system, we would like to donate money, and so it would make sense for scholarships to be able to do that and stuff. So yeah, that's something that we would like to ideal goal would be. But we have to wait until we are able to financially support ourselves with our books, but also be able to just survive daily life without taking money out of our savings account. So yeah, it's a work in progress. But that's all I gotta say for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys got anything you want to hear from me, leave it in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys next time, okay? Bye!